Hey everyone, today we're going to take a dive, and I mean a deep dive, from the sunlit surface all the way down to the crushing depths to explore the 5 hidden worlds of our planet's oceans.
You know, when you look out at the ocean, you see this huge, shimmering blue surface. But that's just the cover of a very, very deep book. So, what really lies beneath? What secrets are hidden in that crushing darkness, thousands of meters below?
Well, the key to understanding the whole thing is to realize the ocean isn't just one big body of water. Nope. It's more like a vertical stack of completely different worlds, each with its own rules, its own light, and its own bizarre inhabitants. We call this stack the water column. To make sense of it all, scientists have broken this water column into 5 major zones. The easiest way to think about it is like the floors of a giant skyscraper, but instead of going up, we're about to go down, descending through each unique layer on our way to the very bottom of the sea. All right, here's the game plan. We'll start in the bright, familiar sunlit zone. Then we'll sink into the mysterious twilight and midnight zones. And finally, we're going to plunge into the extreme pressures of the abyssal and Hadal zones. Ready? Let's begin our descent. First stop, the world we all know best. This is the vibrant, energetic surface of the ocean, just teeming with life. We're in the sunlit zone, which goes from the surface all the way down to about 200 meters. And as you can guess from the name, this is pretty much the only part of the ocean where sunlight really gets a chance to shine, warming up the water and just fueling an absolute explosion of life.
Now, if you want to get technical, the scientific name is the epipelagic zone. It's also called the euphotic zone, and euphotic literally means good light. And for good reason. This is the engine room of the entire ocean. All that sunlight allows tiny phytoplankton to photosynthesize, and they form the base of the whole marine food web. Pretty much all the ocean life we're familiar with gets its start right here. But now, we leave the light behind. We're crossing the 200-meter mark. The bright blues are getting deeper. The warmth is fading, and we are sinking into a world of shadows and mystery.
Welcome to the Twilight Zone. Seriously. It's also called the mesopelagic zone, and it stretches from 200 down to 1,000 meters. Down here, sunlight is just a faint memory. It's not nearly strong enough for photosynthesis, but it's just present enough to create this perpetual dusky gloom. And get this, the sheer scale of the zone is just mind-boggling. This isn't some small little band of water. It's a massive, globe-spanning layer. It's like a critical bridge, connecting that world of light we just left with the vast, dark emptiness that's waiting for us below. Okay, we're now passing 1,000 meters. Those last photons of sunlight, they're gone. From here on down, there's no day, there's no night, there's only a cold, crushing, and eternal darkness. This is the midnight zone, or the bathypelagic zone, and it goes all the way down to a staggering 4,000 meters. The pressure here is immense, and the only light, comes from the creatures that live here, using bioluminescence to hunt, to find mates, and to defend themselves in this endless night. Deeper we go, we're now past 4,000 meters and entering the abyssal zone. The abyss, the name says it all, right? This is the vast, flat seafloor that covers a huge portion of our planet. It's a world of near-freezing temperatures, unimaginable pressure, and life that survives on a slow, steady snowfall of organic matter from the worlds way above. But believe it or not, there are places even deeper than the abyss. Our final stop is the Hadal zone. This zone only exists in the world's deepest ocean trenches. We're talking depths from 6,000 meters all the way down to the bottom of the Mariana Trench at almost 11,000 meters. This is, without a doubt, the most extreme and least explored environment on Earth. And the name Hadal is so fitting. It actually comes from Hades, the Greek god of the underworld. It just perfectly captures the crushing, remote, and totally alien nature of these deepest points on our planet.
So we've journeyed from the sun-drenched surface all the way down to this crushing underworld. But why does any of this matter? Why is it so important to understand these layers?
So let's just do a quick recap of the journey we just took. We have the sunlit zone, the twilight zone, the midnight zone, the abyssal zone, and finally, the Hadal zone. You know, seeing them all laid out like this really drives home the sheer vertical vastness of the ocean. It's incredible. And here's the real takeaway. These zones aren't just some weird curiosity. They're absolutely fundamental to regulating our planet's climate because they absorb so much heat and carbon. They're home to completely unique ecosystems we're only just beginning to understand. And, of course, they represent one of the last true frontiers for exploration. And that brings us to a final, pretty mind-blowing thought. More people have stood on the surface of the moon than have ever visited the Hadal Zone. We literally know more about the topography of Mars than we do about our own seafloor. So it just leaves you wondering, in all that vast, unexplored darkness, what incredible discoveries are just waiting for us next?